Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ray Allen. I am an executive consultant with LifeVantage, and I've been building this business with my wife for the last 12 years, and it's been such a blessing for my family and I, and the thousands of people we've been able to bless all over the world, whether it be with their health through our product offering, or their finances through our business opportunity, and like us, in so many other cases, in both. I spent 11 years on active duty as a Navy helicopter pilot, and I'm excited to be with you here today and share with you why I know that Life Vantage is such a great fit for active duty military, veterans, law enforcement, and first responders. To build this business in their part time, generating income for your family, taking advantage of all the many tax benefits that come along with a home based business. And if you'd like, eventually, like myself and so many others have done, to build a full time income, but also to be able to do that while you're still serving the mission you've already committed to. And I'd like to share a little bit about myself because while I've built a very successful business with LifeVantage over the years, beforehand, I had absolutely zero experience in business or marketing or health and wellness or this industry at all. So when LifeVantage found my wife Samantha and I back in 2013, we were a young military couple. We were dual military with a 1 year old daughter. My wife Samantha and I, we met at the U.S. Naval Academy, and after graduation, she commissioned as a Marine Corps officer, and I headed to flight school to Pensacola, Florida, and then to Corpus Christi, Texas, then back to Pensacola, Florida to get wing. And what that meant for us was, we would spend the first 4 years of our marriage living in separate states because we couldn't get co-located. Now, we had good income, but we didn't have our time together, and we got married because we loved one another and wanted to raise our family together. So when our good friend and fellow Marine Corps officer gave us a call to share a business opportunity, we were all ears. And what we saw was a vehicle for us to build income alongside what we were currently doing, but also while serving others and being able to help out others while we were doing what we were doing. And better yet, we were introduced to leaders who had built a type of income through Life Vantage that would allow us to get our time back together. Now, as a Navy pilot, I was still obligated to serve another 7 years. And, along that time, I had multiple workup cycles, deployments. And during that time, in the busy nooks and crannies of our life, my wife and I were able to build this business to a point where we could walk away from the military. And believe me, we were busy. We also have 7 children. And I was honored to have served our country. We both were. But when January 2020 rolled around and I had fulfilled my service obligations, I was ready and able to walk away from the Navy and not have to worry about how I was going to support my family and pay for our lifestyle. And it's really because of the tremendous mentorship I had, that I got from the leaders in LifeVantage, the incredible team of like-minded people we were able to connect with and build our business with. It had grown to a point where we were really finally able to live our life on our terms. Because you can build your business really from anywhere with a phone or internet connection. We chose to move our family out of Virginia Beach and onto where we currently live on our 53-acre homestead in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, where we raise and homeschool our 7 children. Now, that was our dream of what freedom truly was, and everyone's got their own. And I highly encourage you and I invite you to think about what your life could look like. If you could design it on your terms, it's going to look different for everybody. But I want you to realize that, whether you recognize it or not, the person who invited you here today to hear me and be on this talk has handed you the opportunity to do just that. Okay. So that's a little background on how LifeVantage came into my life. But the story of LifeVantage itself began in a lab of a little biotech company out of Denver, Colorado. Now, they came together and put together a couple of natural herbs, which really had been used for centuries in cooking and natural healing. And what they found was they were able to flip a switch called the NRF2 pathway, which is it's really the master switch in the whole body. And rather than just making, a good antioxidant product, what they discovered was that that switch turns on our body's antioxidant factory. It turns it back on, which allows our body to produce enzymes capable of neutralizing more than 1 million free radicals per second, which is really, really, truly amazing stuff. So obviously, after that, some tests and clinical studies were done. And what they were able to prove was that this NRF2 pathway, Protandim NRF2, our flagship product, was able to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. That is profound. And it's so profound that even ABC primetime news came in to investigate to see, was this real? And it turns out it was. And that led to 28, I think we're up now to 28 independent peer reviewed studies on Protandim NRF2 from the likes of LSU, Texas Tech, Ohio State, the American Heart Association. And it's not that LifeVantage paid these organizations, these institutions to go out and study Protandim. They heard about it and said, we need to do our own independent study. And now there are 28 of them published on PubMed.gov, which is the National Institute of Health database for peer-reviewed research, which is huge. Really, really unheard of in the natural wellness space to have that amount of and that volume of peer-reviewed studies. But really, that was just the start. What LifeVantage discovered next was that there are more switches and pathways throughout the body, and we can flip those switches to activate the body's processes, which slow down over time with aging. And the best part of this all is we can do it naturally without drugs or pharmaceuticals. Now, this field is called nutrigenomics. It was new to me before I heard about it, but what it is it uses natural herbs and compounds to affect our genes in a positive way. Because, like, whether you realize it or not, your God given body is a miracle. And we can flip those switches back on to naturally activate those processes. You can really truly live your healthiest life. So while our first activator, the Protandim NRF2, allows the body to dramatically reduce inflammation and oxidative stress in every cell, our next Protandim NRF1 activates the body to produce healthier mitochondria, which you might remember from school as a kid or college or high school, but it's the powerhouse of the cell. Truly, truly important for cellular health. LifeVantage next discovered a way to activate our brain capacity for clearer focus and mental energy. Now, it's our nootropic drink called Axio. Now, I had my first experience with this product back in 2014 when it first came out. And, I think one of the most dangerous things we did flying helicopters in the Navy, wasn't necessarily the crazy exciting things like flying over mountains and stuff. It was landing on the back of destroyers and cruisers at night, which looks like a tiny little postage stamp. Now, sometimes these were hours and hours long evolution because you had to go out and land a couple times every few months to stay current in order to stay, current and legal. So we'd shove like 6 guys in a helicopter and we'd go land on the ship. We'd get out, we'd do a clown car, guys would get in the front seat to fly. And it was very, very tiring. And what I noticed was a lot of guys at the time, and even I used to, we drink a ton of coffee before these evolutions, and you're flying on night vision goggles at night, landing on a postage stamp in the middle of a very dark ocean. And you need to have your energy. And we would be down in coffee, energy drinks. And I remember the first time I drank Axio, I handed it to all the guys in the crew. I was like, hey, you got to try this stuff. I didn't really have an experience with it yet. But what we all noticed across the board after flying 4 hours at night, landing on the back of this ship over and over and over again, is that we had absolute mental clarity, all the energy we needed, super alert, but no jitterness or shakiness, which was an absolute game changer for us. So that product to me is very near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love it. It really helps your brain sort of connect the dots. Absolutely love Axio. That was my experience with it. Now, many of you probably already know the benefits of collagen. It's becoming pretty mainstream now, but really it makes up about a third of our body. The problem with most collagen products, though, today on the market is that they're simply supplementing, whereas LifeVantage liquid collagen truly activates the body's ability to produce collagen again on its own, like when we were younger, which is a much more natural process instead of supplementing. And most recently, LifeVantage has launched one of the most exciting activators yet, which is really to help support a healthy weight loss journey, and that's our GLP-1 mind-body system. Now, this word is the world is becoming very familiar with this term. It's a huge percent of the population now is using pharmaceutical injections of GLP-1. And what they're really trying to do is balance blood sugars and lose weight. But once again, LifeVantage took the all natural approach by formulating the mind body system, which is now we can say proven to activate our own God-given GLP-1 hormone by 140%. That's naturally, okay, without injections. Now, this approach is hugely beneficial, and it's really helping people take back control of their eating habits by restoring a healthy connection really between our brain and gut. In doing this, we're balancing hunger hormones, we're quieting food noise, and maintaining healthy blood sugar levels, all while supporting a natural, healthy weight loss journey. Um, but one of my favorite parts about this is even better yet, instead of LifeVantage, selling and spending, millions and millions of dollars on advertising, LifeVantage decided to market this product and sell the products through the network marketing space and pays people like me and the person who invited you to be here and you, if you choose, to take advantage of this program and market the products and sell the products instead. And what the company has found over the last 13, 14 years is that it works. So fast forward to today, and LifeVantage has grown into a $250 million company, and it's publicly traded on the NASDAQ. And I personally am so grateful that they chose network marketing because what I've found over the last dozen years is that when it's done right, it can be a tremendous vehicle for the average person to develop leveraged income. Now, for me personally, I know I can't sing or dance. I was never going to win American Idol and get a record deal that's going to pay me for the rest of my life. I also knew that I wasn't smart enough or interesting enough to write a book that people were going to buy for the rest of my life to support my family and our lifestyle. But what we found with LifeVantage, we've been so blessed with, is that LifeVantage gives us a product that we now know has changed lives and has answered countless prayers over the years. And what we found is that when products really improve the quality of people's life as much as ours do, you gain very happy and very, very loyal customers for life, which allows you to take advantage of the business opportunity behind this, all while developing a leveraged income for your family by helping and serving others. So there are so many reasons why I believe LifeVantage business, it suits people like us. So I want to break down a couple real quick. The first one is really low barrier of entry. It makes it very suitable business for most people to gain access to. For instance, franchises today can cost anywhere from tens of thousands to multiple millions of dollars to set up. And even after all that, you put in all those years, you may or may not even be able to will that to future generations. You can literally start a LifeVantage business today and start benefiting from the mentorship from leaders like me and so many others for as little as $50. And that will be a one-time recurring fee each year. That's the absolute minimum. But I would highly encourage you, if you see this, to pick a business pack. There are multiple business packs. The reason I say that, that's what I did. The reason I say that is it's going to allow you to start your experience with our products, and you're going to get a vast, big span of our products at a great discount, so you can start developing your story with our products. The next one I want to talk about is tax benefits. I want to be very clear. I'm not giving you tax advice. Ray Allen is not giving tax advice, nor would I ever. But it's been my experience over the last dozen years that I've come to know that I think you would be crazy not to own a home-based business in 2025. Because when you do that, when you enroll as a consultant, you're in business for yourself, but definitely not by yourself. You are in fact a business owner, which gives you instant access to a laundry list of tax benefits and deductions. I highly encourage you to investigate that further and find a very good tax professional who understands the home-based business world and the network marketing profession. I'm only citing sources from the IRS.gov right there. That's just a little snippet of what you can expect to be able to access that. Most of the world today is W-2 employees, especially here in the United States. Obviously, W-2 means you're in the United States, but moving from the W-2 over to the other side gives you a tremendous access to very, very, very beneficial tax benefits for you and your family. The other thing I loved about this, which I believe suits our lifestyle, is it's mobile. You can take it anywhere you go. All those little red dots on the country right there. We moved 14 times during our 11 years in the military between my wife and I. And I come to think about how many businesses can you just pick up and move with you that many times in 10 years. I challenge anybody to find something other than a home-based business and the network, just like a network marketing business, where you can pick up as long as you can access the internet or your computer or your phone. You can not only continue to not your business not die, but you can continue to have it grow as well. Um, the next thing I'd like to talk about is, that small unit leadership and camaraderie that so much of us come to love about our time in the military. I hear so many of my veteran brothers and sisters that have left active duty. They struggle with a lack of purpose or a mission. And knowing now about the power of our product offering and the network marketing opportunity behind it, I truly feel morally obligated to share what we have with as many people as possible. And if you choose to join with us in doing so, you're going to build a team of like minded people on the same mission to serve others all over the world. I get asked quite a bit, if I miss flying and miss flying in the Navy, did it for a long time. And my honest answer is not really. The one thing I do miss is the guys. I miss the camaraderie, those small unit bonds. But what I've been able to rediscover through this business and this opportunity is, the ability to do that with a new mission through LifeVantage of sharing our products and helping people all over the world with what we have to offer. Which leads me to my next point. Our generation of veterans, we've served during a very, very unique time in our nation's history. A lot of us are banged up physically. Sadly, a lot of us suffer silently from the hidden wounds that aren't so obvious. We've been exposed to toxic environments all over the world that no one should ever have to see or be exposed to. By the same token, our law enforcement officers, they literally every time they put their service belt on, put their uniform on, and go out the door, they're putting their lives in the line. And then I think about our first responders. They are day in and day out the first people to respond to the most horrific scenes you can imagine, often the most tragic events in regular people's lives. They are the first people every day to go respond to help. Because of that, our communities, guys, people like us, we all have very high levels of oxidative stress and stress in general. And going back to our product offering, I believe and I know that we have a moral obligation to share because I've seen what these products have done to so many who are suffering, and it truly is an answer to so many prayers. Um, the next thing I want to talk about on a lighter note is the travel opportunities. Our career fields typically don't take us to the nicest beaches all over the world or friendliest of neighborhoods. But one of my favorite parts about this trip and this LifeVantage business is the opportunity to travel all over the world through our incentive trips. I just got back last week from South Africa, and it was the experience of a lifetime. I brought my brother-in-law Shane with me, and we got close enough to smack a lion in the face. We got to see everything you can imagine. Lions, elephants, hippos, giraffes, all kinds of crazy stuff. It was truly amazing. These are just pictures of my two most memorable trips so far: South Africa on the safari, and then a few years ago we went to Ireland, which was an absolutely incredible experience for my wife and I. We've been to so many more unbelievable places. The LifeVantage just sent us to Mexico multiple times, to beautiful resorts, to Maui, really all over the world, and incredible travel opportunities. Usually in our profession, it's going to a place you don't really want to be, but they take such good care of us and send us to some of the most amazing, amazing places. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here real quick. And I want to shift gears a little bit here. And I'm really honored to bring on another guest to share his story with LifeVantage. Um, I've had the honor of knowing Greg and his lovely wife Patty through our years in LifeVantage, and we're not on the same team, but we're both on Team LifeVantage, and I've had a wonderful time getting to know them, and they've helped us more than I can ever thank them for over the years. And Greg is a self-described, another lucky LifeVantage story who was blessed to meet his wife, rebuild his life, and is honored to have been able to help thousands of people live in better health, leveraging the greatness of nutrigenomics and owning a home-based business. He is third generation Army, guys. He is a graduate of the United States Military Academy, which I won't hold against him. I'll let him go free on this call. After he graduated the academy, he branched field artillery and finished his time in service working global space operations and advanced technology systems for the Secretary of Defense. Greg has multiple tours downrange and over 2+ decades of uniform service. Thank you, Greg, for your service. Best part, he loves the Lord and his family, and he gives all the glory and praise to God for allowing him to serve in the way he's been afforded. So I'd love to pass it over to you, brother.
Ray, thank you so much. And to all of the amazing elite leaders on this call. Angie, Christy, you and Sam have been such a big part of our life, and it is truly an honor to be here today, you guys. Anybody who knows the leadership that you have is just, you're incredibly blessed, and it's my honor to share a little bit about my LifeVantage journey, and specifically from a military perspective. Um, I had retired from the military when LifeVantage came into my life. Um, I was working as a financial advisor, a wealth management firm. I was trying to save my marriage because of the numbers of years, 9 out of the 22 that I served that downrange. My marriage was in deep trouble. And so I was trying to find something that would keep me home more than I was away. And so I went into wealth management, found LifeVantage by accident. Quite honestly, I had a client who said, "Hey, I've got one of those small businesses that you talk about, having people invest." And I said, "Well, great. What is it?" And she says, "Well, it's one of those network marketing things." And I said, "Oh no." I said, "Please don't do that." And she said, "No, no, no. This is different." I said, "Well, yeah, I know they're all different." But she said, "No, no, no. I want you to see this product and everything." And I said, "Great. I'll go ahead and take the meeting for you. But I just want to tell you, don't invest anyway, because there's 100 reasons to be in a small business, and I recommend small businesses to my wealth management clients all the time. But they have to really be legitimate businesses." So I took the meeting. I sat there like this, you guys, the entire time. I was so skeptical. The guy said, "It's all this natural product." I said, "Great. Is it some kind of juju berry out of the Amazon? Is it EIEIO steam? What is it? Juice me one, juice me two." It's like, no, no, no. It's this five natural ingredients, like Ray was talking about, developed by scientists at Denver Medical Center, Colorado University Medical Center. And I was like, well, I used to drive by that place every day on the way to high school. So I said, "Okay, well, how many do I take a day?" They said, "Well, take one a day." I said, "Well, I'll take two a day so I can say no faster." Totally skeptical about this whole thing. And man of my word, to help serve my client, I took two a day, two of the flagship products, the Nerf 2 that Ray was talking about. And in 10 days, I had a profound change in my life. You see, after all those decades of being downrange and working in those high stress environments that Ray talked about, I manifested chronic insomnia, you guys. I'd sleep 3 or 4 hours a night. I was all kinds of whack job crazy from a health standpoint. But 10 days, I slept for 5 hours in a row for the first time in 15 years. And 11th night, 15th night, 16th night, 18th night, I kept sleeping 5 and 6 hours, 5 and 6 hours. And I was like, what the heck is different? See, when I would wake up, usually 3 or 4 times a week, after 3 or 4 hours, sometimes to a nightmare, sometimes not. Uh, I would usually do some very unhealthy things at that point in my life. But this started that path of slowly rebuilding my life from a health standpoint. Now I was going through, the reason why I jumped into the small business, quite honestly, was because I had a client who came to me and said, "Hey, this was in 2009. I'm one of the original distributors. My wife and I actually got to cut the ribbon. She wasn't my wife at the time, but we actually cut the ribbon with the company out in San Diego, because I had done my due diligence. I said, I went back to my client and I said, "Hey, look, this product is life changing." I said, "But let me see if this is a worthy small business," because I want to be very quite honest with you. If you're discerning whether this is something that you really want to do, all products are beautiful. All products have some type of worth. No one stands in front of the room and says, "Hey, uh, don't I have the ugliest child? Look at how stupid my granddaughter is." No, no one ever says that about their products. They're all beautiful. Products are all beautiful. Everything has a worth of some type. But here's what I can say. Is it a company? And Ray talked about it, publicly traded with patented peer-reviewed medical studies. It's accessible everywhere in the world, you guys. So particularly for military families, that was intriguing. It trades on the NASDAQ. There's transparency to the company. These are all things that I said, hey, this is a worthy small business. So I jumped in to teach people about small business, and because this had a profound change in my life. And 3 years later, ended up in a terrible, tragic divorce, and then uh, 3 years after that, ended up with my wife, who was also my best friend and business partner in LifeVantage, and we never looked back. We started in LifeVantage, and eventually I sold my wealth management firm, and we've been doing LifeVantage full time since that time. We're 16 years into it, and we feel incredibly blessed, especially when we get to talk to military families, because I'm third generation military. My kids are fourth generation military. Ray so eloquently talked about, the wives of military families are moving all the time. Unless they have something that's portable like this, they we all military families need a little extra money. All first responder families, you can't find a first responder family that doesn't have a second part-time job, because that's the other half of my family. They're all law enforcement guys, and so they all worked part-time, doing security or something like that to make ends meet, because we don't serve in uniform either as first responders or in the military because of the money. We do it because we love to serve our country, we love to serve our communities, we love to serve our families in that way. It's a calling, it truly is. But we need the extra income to help provide for our families. And so this is a perfect way to talk to military families about something that's mobile, something that can be literally taken around the world, something that has low cost, so it doesn't cost them an arm and a leg to buy a franchise. And oh, by the way, when you move to Germany or you move to Japan or you move to, wherever you're going to move to in the United States, you can take this with you. And so that's one of the biggest things. And then second, what Ray already talked about, our products work for the first responder and military family. Not only do they optimize the processes and the systems in our body to help regenerate our systems, and how to help us maintain that fighting edge, and how to maintain our focus and our clarity and our energy and all those things, it actually helps restore the damage that we're doing to our bodies when we're in those very stressful environments like Ray talked about. So I could not find a better way to help military families, to help people around the world serving in uniform in the communities and first responders, than to talk to them about LifeVantage. Talk to them about, hey, look, it doesn't happen overnight. It's work over the course of time, but with consistency over time, you truly can build, like Ray talked about, over a course of his military career. He was doing it part-time with his lovely wife Sam. They were having babies, they were raising a family, they were doing this part-time. Like they said, they were working hard and being busy, but at the end of his career, he could walk away into a business that was not only paying him while he was in uniform, but now is going to pay him for the rest of his life, and that his children will be able to inherit for their generation, that they'll be able to help people around the world. And like Ray said, it is the most camaraderie. It's the best community that I have ever seen outside of uniform, being a part of the LifeVantage family of distributors. And so, Ray, again, Angie, Christy, I just thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to your folks. And if I can do anything to help anyone, please give them our direct line, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you.
Greg, thank you so much. And I know you mean it. You have been such an asset and such a help to us and so many other families who are building their LifeVantage business. You've been a role model to look up to all along the way. So I want to thank you and Patty for everything you do and everything you've done over the years for us. You're truly an asset to LifeVantage, and you've blessed so many lives along the way. So thank you so much for sharing, brother. So hey guys, I'm so grateful that Greg was able to hop on here. I want to wrap things up because we're coming right up on 30 minutes here. But I hope you've taken away a few key points from what myself and Greg have spoken about. Number one, the opportunity you have in your hands today, it's open to everybody. Number two, it is a vehicle for you to build leveraged income for you and your family alongside what you're currently doing. We're not quitting our day job when we start this out. Number three, I never take for granted, and I hope you never take for granted now that you have this information, and every consultant on the line right now, I hope you never take for granted that right now someone's praying for the answers that this opportunity offers, both for their health and for their finances. And number four, for you guests, I highly encourage you to get back to whoever invited you here today and get any questions answered, because you never know, literally right now, who in your life is praying for a solution that you can now offer. So thank you for joining us here, everybody. God bless and take care.